Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this. My name is Lori Krajewski, and I would like to welcome you today to Coffee With. Today, I am having coffee with Tom Paladino. Thank you so much for joining me
Thank you.
from your lab. I love this. For those of you who are not familiar with Tom or his work, he is a researcher and humanitarian. He is seeking to make a difference in the world by providing people with the education and tools to restore optimal health and by helping enhance their quality of life. And before we even dive into what you're doing, I would like to throw out to anybody watching this that we are not doctors, we are not diagnosing, we are not treating. We are just discussing the work that you have researched in scalar light and the instruments that you are using to negate the molecular bonds of pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa. So with that, I turn it over to you to share whatever it is that you would like to share regarding your education, your research, and your instruments. You're the pro. I'm just going to let you take it and run.
Okay, thank you, Lori, for the invitation. An honor to be here. I am a scalar energy researcher. Behind me are scalar energy instruments. Now, what's the key to this work? We're not using electricity. This is a different dimension of energy. Scalar energy is not electromagnetic energy. These instruments are very powerful. They're in the operation mode right now. And when we're working with a scalar energy instrument, we never work with people or animals. Instead, we work in the quantum realm, which is the energy realm of photographs. Allow me to explain. This is my photograph. I only work with people through their photographs, so it's not a biological, biochemical reaction. It's a quantum reaction on their photograph. Meaning what? A person bilocates by way of their photograph. Now, I am having a conversation with Lori. Lori has bilocated to my laboratory. I've bilocated to Lori's office. Right? You can do the same thing with a photograph. You can do this with a Zoom call, or you can do it with a photograph. So when we're working in the quantum field, we never work with people or animals. We work through energy fields or a force field. Let's call it a force field. These instruments are now operating. And how do I access a person? I place their photograph inside that instrument. So the fact that a photograph of a person is placed into the quantum field, that person is now experiencing quantum energy through a force field. It's non-physical action. It's instructions, information. So this has nothing to do with Newtonian physics. This is not Newtonian physics. I am not a medical professional. I'm a quantum researcher. This is a new branch of physics. This has never been done before. I believe my instruments are unique. They're custom-built instruments. Nobody has duplicated my work. Now, I'm going to show the audience what it means to have this energy pulsing from these instruments. In my hand, a light bulb. It's in its factory packaging. The instrument is so strong, it can illuminate a light bulb in my hand. This is the free energy of the universe.
Wow.
Now, what does that mean? If my photograph is receiving that identical energy, my photograph is receiving a chakra balancing. Again, let me demonstrate. Here's a light bulb. Placed next to my photograph, that amount of energy is downloading into my quantum field.
Okay.
So you cannot do this with a toaster or a computer or a refrigerator. You only can do this with custom-built scalar energy instruments, in which a custom-built scalar energy instrument can animate anything, whether it's a light bulb or a photograph of a person. This is a new science. I don't expect people to readily embrace this. You have to study this new and emerging science.
Okay, so my first question, which I imagine a lot of people ask you right off the bat, is how do we know what is being programmed into the quantum field? And how do we know that the energy that we're receiving is beneficial or safe or
Yes,
not detrimental or all of those things?
you're right. First and foremost, if this energy is fundamental, I believe it's from God. I believe it's a divine energy. And if this energy can provide illumination to, say, a light bulb, well, then that's the natural course of action of this energy, to illuminate, to enhance. So if this is divine energy, God cannot hurt. If this energy can enhance a light bulb, then it should be able to enhance our chakras and our brain waves. Putting all of that into motion, this is how scalar energy works. It's friendly. Why? It's from God. That's a good point. I am not downloading the instructions. I simply turn this instrument on and it performs the function that I want. I literally would take a person's photograph or a group photograph and place it in the instrument. The intelligence is not mine, it's divine intelligence. Program the energy. The energy is directed by God.
So you froze up there just a little bit. I just want to ask you to reiterate, how
Sure.
do we know that this information is from God, that you're not programming it? Because I'm sure you've heard that scalar energy can be used to harm, right? By perhaps armed forces.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Energy is fundamental, and you could use it for
right,
good or bad.
right.
Let's just say that it's cut to the chase. It's either good or bad. If I take this energy and I can illuminate a light bulb, that influence is from God. Now, when I use this instrument, I use it in that capacity to help. I do not instruct the energy. The energy is self-instructed by God. So I literally turn the instrument on, and for 1 hour, I can perform a chakra balancing through the energy without my interpretation. There's no human interpretation with this instrument.
So do you want to talk a little bit more about the instrument itself and how you
Yes.
arrived at all of this? I mean, I know it's a lot,
Yeah,
and it's
this,
probably pretty end science, but I imagine you've gotten good at explaining it by now.
I'm going to pan over. I'm going to show part of the instrument. There are other instruments in this laboratory. Now, these are, again, our custom-built instruments. I learned this initially from an inventor by the name of Galen Hieronymus. I met his family. I never met the inventor. He was deceased. These instruments, the key element is we control a different energy dimension. This is not electromagnetic. And with these instruments, we enter into another reality, another dimension. There are two dimensions, scalar energy. Some people might call this the fifth dimension or consciousness. So the key to my work are these engineered instruments. Again, I don't provide medical advice. I don't provide advice on physics or chemistry. I work with instruments that send energy into a force field of a photograph. So if Lori and I can have this conversation by Zoom, then I believe the world will eventually catch on to the fact that we can have instructions through the force field of a photograph. Now, why is this easy? Because all you have to do is email me a photograph. Why is this safe? There's no biological reaction. I'm simply downloading, imparting energy to a photograph. So this is the easy, painless way of going about quantum health, energy health. Now, I want to make this also clear. When I'm working with scalar energy, there are two Toms. If you really consider this from the standpoint of scalar physics, you can bilocate. So I never treat a person biologically. I only treat their energy field on a photograph. I can be in two places at once. I can bilocate. So this is the new science that we have to study. The bilocation or multi-location available through the realm of consciousness. This is a consciousness instrument.
So I am familiar with bilocation. In fact, last week I was traveling, and when I got home, I I woke up the next day at my previous location. So it was, and it's not the first time I've done that.
Oh
It's
my goodness,
it's
really?
probably the second or third time I've done that, and it's always been at the same woman's house. And I called her and I said, I'm not here, I'm there. And she said, I know.
Yes.
But so I mean, it's a little trippy, it's a little freaky. And, you know, part of your human aspect goes, whoa, something's not okay. But the reality is if you understand quantum physics, if you understand that we might not even be in physical form, we're actually just vibrating so fast in the quantum field that we appear physical,
Yes.
it makes perfect sense, right?
Yes, it does. It does. Now, let me use this analogy. Again, Lori is not in my computer, but I see her. We're having a Zoom call. That's her energy field or her vibration. Now, in the flesh, if I was in her office, then that would be another version of Lori. But we are bilocating by way of this video call. People bilocate all the time on TV, video, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. So if you can bilocate through your computer, then you can also bilocate through a photograph. This is the exciting science of scalar energy, in which you're not bound to one particular point in time. You can transcend time and space. By the fact that you bilocated and you woke up in another geographical area, that proves bilocation. Yes, it's real.
Yeah, it's very real. It's very freaky, but it is very real. And you said something about this work isn't biological. Can you talk
Correct.
about that a little bit more?
Yeah, yeah, correct. When I say information, that information is non-physical. So if the biological, we transcended, we're way above that. We're in the realm of instructions. The instructions will eventually find their way to the biological realm.
Right.
So what am I getting at? As human beings, there has to be a pattern body. There has to be intelligence. There has to be consciousness that creates our physical being. So why, in all due respect, why focus so much on the biological effect? Why not work on the quantum cause?
Right.
Everything is cause and effect. This instrument is a causal instrument. It causes changes in nature. It is responsible for nature, as opposed to our biological body that accepts the instructions.
Right.
So this is the effect. This is the end product. What produced this end product were instructions above that transcend the physical plane.
Okay. Okay. And eventually those instructions, like you said, are going to trickle down into what appears to be the physical body, right?
Correct.
And do you have a theory? I shouldn't say what is your theory. I should ask you if you have one. Do you have a theory on, say, for somebody who has had like long-term chronic whatever, you know, maybe chronic Epstein-Barr, or maybe just chronic fatigue or something like that? Do you feel sometimes with those instructions coming down into the physical, sometimes some things might increase before they actually dissipate and are healed, so to speak?
Yes, yes, and some of my subscribers have said that. When people send me their photograph, the first week or two, they're tired. They feel some type of malaise because apparently we're rebooting the body. Again, if we're putting so much energy into the quantum field, that's a change, that's a shift to their quantum field. And people say as a result, they're tired, or they feel a little bit lethargic. It might be a healing crisis. You might call that a readjustment. You might call that a reprogramming. You know, all of those terms are valid for this new science. So with that in mind, yes, many people the first week or two say that they're tired, but after that, they have a zest for life, and many people will even go as far to say as their dream state is enhanced. Now, I in no way are going to program or impart dreams or some type of vivid recall into your mind.
Right.
This energy does that.
Right.
Now, today, earlier in my laboratory, I was working with 500,000 photographs.
Wow.
There's no way I can impart instructions to 500,000 people. I don't. God, with his light, his intelligence, sends the energy or the instructions in the quantum field. So this is not human capacity. There's no human reasoning to what I'm doing. This is all energy. Energy's fundamental. Energy's from God. God imparts the knowledge or the instructions.
And you don't, I can already hear the conspiracy theorists and the naysayers, and you can already hear what they're saying, right? So what is your response? You don't feel like there can be interruption in that, or?
I'm glad you asked the question. This tool can be used for good or evil, like any tool. I work alone, and for the sake of this conversation, I won't work with corrupt governments, and I won't work with corrupt corporations. I work alone for a reason. Number two, I've never shared this knowledge with anybody. I'm not going to recreate these instruments because they can be used against our will.
Yes.
It's a shame because when you have great technology, you have to have matching morality. Yeah. Great technology must be matched by great morality. Do we have that today? Sadly, no. Yeah. We don't have the morality to match, to walk hand in hand with our technology.
And it kind of reminds me of Einstein, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And
yes,
you know, creating nuclear energy, did they really think about what this energy could be abused for? And really, we can say that about any invention, right? Over the years, is a lot of things have been invented without the foresight to understand how they can be abused.
Yes, thank you. I use that analogy frequently. Nuclear energy, sure, many of us use nuclear power to power our homes, and there is nuclear medicine and other. We're looking into the protons, into the nucleus of an atom. There's incredible power there, but you don't create a nuclear bomb and an atomic bomb. And that's where we have to make the distinction. How are you going to use, this is a gift from God. How are you going to use God's knowledge to help the kingdom of God or to detract from it?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of times we don't have the foresight, but I do feel like we have to be very careful with what we allow, right? And I imagine a lot of Christians who might watch this might have a huge problem with this kind of technology because it could be seen as messing with God, right? This is God's job, not yours. Or
you're right.
You know, whatever. I mean, I can't really conjure up what they might think, but you can imagine what they might think.
Now, I'll add to that, Lori. I believe in the Bible, you read about the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
I believe it was a scalar energy instrument.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, the Ark of the Covenant gave off light and gave the Israelites great power. But let me demonstrate something once again. I'll show you how powerful this is. This is a chopping board, a wooden chopping board. I hold it up to the instrument. Scalar energy passes through energy. It can illuminate the light bulb passing through a wooden board. So this energy of God, nothing can stop it. Here's another example. So what's my point? Similar to the Ark of the Covenant, you can light up anything, or you can control nature. That's what the Ark of the Covenant did in many ways. It gave Moses and the Israelites a control over nature. So this is a new dimension of scalar energy. This is a new arena of thought, of scientific inquiry. I want to introduce these benefits to mankind. I'm very much a Christian. I'm very much a humanitarian. I realize my responsibility. That's why I control this laboratory. I'm the only one in this laboratory.
Okay. Okay. So how long have you been doing this? And what are some of the people or the groups of people that you've been working with?
I've been at this since I was a youngster. I'm 63 years of age, so it's been, in theory, at least 50 years of research.
Oh, wow.
I studied Nikola Tesla. Now, do we have great results? Yes. Visit our website. We have probably 4,000 testimonies on our website.
Okay.
At least. Now, here are one of the testimonies, and this is really dear to my heart. We work with people who are HIV positive. This is a clinic in Delhi, India. Om Prakash Clinic of people living with HIV/AIDS. It's an HIV/AIDS clinic.
Okay.
We've worked with over 5,000 people from Delhi, India.
Okay.
By photographs. I've never been to India, by the way.
Okay.
And after I work with these people, if they have a follow-up PCR test for the HIV virus, no one at this clinic shows any positive, any sign of HIV. They are simply stated undetectable for the HIV virus after we work with them by way of a photograph.
Wow.
And many of these people have sent us a PCR test. Here's a PCR test from the founder. It's not detected. I treated the founder, his name is Sahil, at this clinic in Delhi, India. And ever since 2017, he's been undetectable. He doesn't have a viral load.
Okay. That's astounding. Do you have any idea how long, of course, people are going to say, well, how long does it take for me to heal? How long were you treating this group of people? I imagine a lot of them hopped on as you started.
Yes.
You didn't do all 5,000 at once, right?
That's correct. We will receive a collage from India, usually once a month of 400 or 500 people. So it's an ongoing clinical study. It's their clinical study. 5,000 people over the past 5 years. Everybody feels better. The key element is it only takes one session, one day, to eradicate a virus, including the HIV virus.
What?
One session. Because I'm working at the fundamental level of intelligence. Don't think of this as way of biology. I never work with a biological unit. I bring a virus to a state of chaos through energy, through the manipulation of its energy field. I bring the HIV virus to a state of chaos. It only takes one session.
Okay, that's fascinating. I think my brain might have just exploded. Okay, so you're saying don't think of this as a biological approach. Right. What about spiritual, mental, or emotional illness?
The chakra balancing that I described, if this instrument is bright enough to illuminate a light bulb, then it should illuminate our mind, our brain waves, and our chakras. So many people, especially those who are sensitive, say that they have an improvement in their mental health or their emotional health. They have greater mental clarity. They're happier. They don't have the state of depression. Some people have gone as far to say that they've been cured or eradicated from depression, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, phobias. Now, all of that is a correction of the mindset, a correction of the brain waves, a correction of our thinking, and a correction of our chakras. I am not the corrector.
Right.
The energy, which is God, God is light. Light energy, God corrects the mind, the mindset, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. God corrects the 7 chakras. So I really want to drive home this point. As a researcher, all I can do is act upon and control this energy through this instrument. I am not the animating force, and I do not deliver the instructions. Why do I like this work so much? It's mistake-proof. I simply turn the instrument on. The hard work has been done in engineering the instruments. The easy work is to place a person's photograph in this instrument and have the person experience a download of divine energy.
Okay. So without giving away too many trade secrets, when you were engineering this and you were, creating the program, for lack of a better word, were there instructions to, you know what I mean? Like you
Yes.
program a computer to perform a certain function. Is that similar to what you've done here? Yes. And, clear the chakra is a program, perhaps clear the spiritual health is a program. How, again, I don't want you to give away trade secrets, but
no, I'll give away all my trade secrets because I want people to know this. A human being, a person, programs a computer. The animating force is the information system of a computer. And scalar energy, the animating force is always energy. You see, a computer is created by people. Energy is created by God.
Okay.
So this computer, this scalar energy computer, it's God's design. So the key element is this: there's no human programming here. God will instruct as he sees fit through his radiating light. The light is from God. That's the key element. Yes, this is an engineered instrument, but once the instrument is in operation, the light, the animating force is God. There's no programming with this. God is the programmer, as opposed to a computer where you have people who program.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the follow-up question then would be, if someone were to do this and actually doesn't feel better, but they feel a little worse, one might think, well, God wants me to feel worse. That can't be true. How would you reframe that?
I have to accept everybody's testimony. Why? This is a new and groundbreaking research. You have to accept favorable and unfavorable responses. Whatever people say, I accept. And I'm not to judge, because maybe somebody has to get over some type of emotional trauma before they feel better. Maybe somebody has some type of biological impediment or or a disease that I don't diagnose disease. So whether it's a favorable report or unfavorable, we place them on our website. Why? Because people have to speak. The only thing we can judge our work by are testimonies. Keep in mind, I know of no scientific community that's ever tested a photograph as far as the scalar waves on a photograph. It's never been done. You can't do it unless you have a scalar energy instrument. So until the scientific community creates or recreates an instrument like mine and can impart scalar energy on a photograph, nobody can either prove or disprove my work.
Okay. Okay. So there is something that I would like to share with people, and I want to be full disclosure here. I have not shared this with Tom, so he has no idea what I'm about to say, because I have only shared this with one person, and they are not here today. I was out of town last week for an event and for kind of a little spiritual retreat. I don't really call it a vacation because it wasn't for fun. It was really for spiritual, mental, emotional healing, right? So the first day that I wake up out of town, I wake up and I'm barely awake yet, right? And I wake up and it was as if every single trauma that I had experienced in my life was in my face. And I'm barely awake, and I sat up and I thought, well, isn't that a fine how do you do to wake up to the day, right? I get to relive every single trauma I've ever experienced. Fantastic, right? But what was interesting is I never even thought of the work that I was receiving through the scalar instrument that you're talking about. I never thought of it. What I did notice was the trauma itself. While you would think, every single trauma you've ever experienced, and I've had some girls had some trauma, okay? I didn't have the emotional devastation of those traumas. So what you just said was really interesting. Like, if people have traumas that they need to heal from, that, in my opinion, has been my biggest obstacle to my physical healing, is that you don't always know quite how to heal a trauma, right? You think you do the work, you think you've gone through all of the programs, or you think you've done all of the things, but that trauma always just kind of sits there like a really low grade headache. So it's really interesting that you just said, if somebody has trauma, and that's the first thing I thought of, was like, well, maybe because I've been receiving the scalar energy for a few weeks, that's why I woke up that way. And that's why by the end of the day, I had completely forgotten about it. So I know that oftentimes when I try a new modality, I'm one of those odd ducks that I get worse before I get better. It always brings me down when really, like you said, people typically their depression is gone, their anxiety is gone, they feel amazing, their viruses are gone, all is healed. Well, it's like I have a reverse. And maybe that's what this stuff is doing for me, is finally flipping that switch that I've just not been able to flip. I don't know. We'll have to see. Only time will tell.
That's quite profound. Some people, I'm going to add to that, some people have said that this chakra balancing has allowed them to revisit trauma, negative, this is
Yeah.
negative events.
Yeah.
And put those negative events into perspective. It doesn't erase them, it doesn't negate them, but it allows them to move on. I guess it's some type of closure.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard that from hundreds of people, so there must be some truth to that. As a new science, that's one of the emerging body of evidence that we have to embrace, that this probably allows some people to revisit trauma, a negative event, and at least come to grips with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was interesting is, if anybody's watching this and going, well, I can't do that. What was interesting is you have to realize the emotional charge really wasn't there. I mean, you can feel the pain of those traumas, but it was like 1% for me, that, you can feel the pain of these traumas. And for me, it was multiple. It was multiple events. It wasn't just one trauma. It was multiple. So to be able to say that the charge of those traumas was barely palpable, was barely noticeable, to me, I'm just like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Because I know that to really heal, we have to move through whatever it is that we're moving through. We can't go around it. We can't go above it. We can't go down, down below. We do have to go through it to a degree. But with certain types of modalities, we don't necessarily have to be in that trauma again to heal that trauma. We don't have to connect to the emotional charge of that trauma. So it's very interesting to me with this work that the ordeal wasn't relived. Do you know what I mean? And it's interesting that you said it's not like it wipes the slate clean. For me, that's exactly what I saw. I was in a meditative session a few days later, and I saw a massive whiteboard in my head. I have my eyes closed, and I'm a very visual person. So when I do any type of prayer or meditation, I see images, right? I don't know why, but that's just what's happened my whole life. I saw a massive dry erase board and a big, huge eraser just constantly going like this.
Oh my goodness.
And it was beautiful, because I could almost feel energetically that all of this trauma was finally being erased, because I have been willing to do whatever it takes to heal this trauma. And the timing of I cannot ignore the timing of you sending the waves, and then the experiences that I've been experiencing. At first, even before we got on this call, I was like, I am having a negative reaction to this. It's not negative. It's not. It's just how, for whatever reason, my life or my body or my quantum field seems to heal by, quote unquote, getting worse before it gets better. So I honestly, I look forward to another 30 days of whatever this brings, because if this is finally healing my traumas after all of the work I have done in the last 50 years,
Yeah. Bravo.
okay, 27 years, not 50, but if this is finally bringing healing, I can certainly do it another 30 days. That's nothing in a lifetime of healing.
Thank you for sharing that. I resonate with that. Is there a cause and effect? Are we correlating the sessions with this revisiting of past trauma? Perhaps. Is this the new and emerging science? Sounds like it to me. Did God correct your chakras and your trauma? I believe so. God can only correct, he can't harm.
And I have to agree with that, because I know one of the other issues I struggle with, and I might have told you this, is a few years ago I had a test for Epstein-Barr, and the numbers were pretty high. So what was interesting is I've had ear, nose, and throat symptoms in the last maybe 7 to 10 days. And again, you think, well, this isn't working, it's backfiring. What if that is the quantum field's way and the biological body's way of finally purging all of that hidden virus from the cells? Because if people know anything about Epstein-Barr or Lyme or any of these other, honestly, what I consider manufactured viruses, they hide. They're very smart and they're really tricky. They hide and then get in nooks and crannies, and they will fester and linger, and they'll destroy lives. What if the symptoms that I've been feeling that are extremely mild and very easy to work through are just my body's way of finally getting rid of that Epstein-Barr? Or literally, God only knows what other viruses I might have been struggling with, in addition to that Epstein-Barr that's been going on for probably my whole life. I remember having chickenpox at 5. So, what if my whole life I've been struggling with this virus, and this is finally clearing that? I'm actually really excited to see the next 30 days.
Okay, you're on. Let's try it. And again, thank you for the testimony. I accept everything. As a new science, this is our unique instrument. Every testimony right now is unique. Moving forward, I don't know why it would not remain to be unique to the new science of scalar energy that explores another dimension of time and space. This is consciousness.
Yeah.
This is 0-point energy.
Yeah.
We're in a different reality. We're in a different dimension. There is a 5th dimension or 0-point energy, or call it consciousness. This instrument controls the 5th dimension.
And, I'm always about getting to the root cause of illness and disease. The work that I do for everybody else really is to target the root cause. And I don't know any other higher level of getting to that root cause than the quantum field. A couple of the formulas that I share with other people are actually quantum formulas for that very reason, because a lot of that information, like you said, is in the quantum field. It isn't necessarily stemming from the biological body. The cause is far greater than we can realize. And
Yes.
this really fascinates me.
Thank you. It fascinates me too, because again, this is not human reason. This is divine light. This is divine energy.
Yeah.
So finally, we're at a point of having mistake-proof quantum health, not biological health, energy health, because the energy is the doctor, so to speak, the physician. I'm not the physician.
Lovely. Lovely.
Thank
So I want to say thank you so much for bringing us into your lab. Is there anything else that you really want people to understand or know, or?
Thank you so much for the interview. I ask people to visit our website. We offer anybody in the world free sessions on our website. Go to the website, scalarlight.com, SCALAR, scalarlight.com, and we let you decide how you feel. We want your testimony. All testimonies are valid. We will work with you every day. We'll balance your chakras. We'll eliminate microbes, germs, and we also have the ability to create nutrients.
Oh.
We're able to take a photograph of a nutrient and then download that into a person. So we have a nutrient program also that's included in the free trial. So visit us, scalarlight.com, and we will perform those 3 functions on a daily basis.
Okay. And there's other programs that people can purchase, yes? Should they choose to target specific areas?
Right. Start with their standard program that we offer for free. There's male hormone, female hormone, endorphin program. There's minerals and precious stones, digestive enzymes, 10 different programs. We don't have time to elaborate upon that, but visit the website and then you decide if this is for you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And when I publish the recording, of course, I will attach all of your links. If people want to reach out, is there a customer service? Is there somebody they can ask more questions to that we might not have covered here?
Yes, we always answer the phone. We're there actually 7 days a week to answer the phone. Thank you.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this. I kind of walk away from this feeling like my brain is just Poof. I love this. I could talk about this stuff all day. Maybe I'll have you back in a couple of months and
Please,
see what you've
let's
learned. Yeah.
yeah, let's do this again and see how you feel in 2 or 3 months down the road. Thank you. This is the infinite science. It's energy. Light has infinite ability. So this we've just scratched the surface of what we're going to do.
Yeah, I feel that we're barely dipping our toe into how deep this probably goes. So, but this has been a great introduction, and I definitely would like to follow up on this. And um, if you are watching this and you do decide to give a free trial, I would love to hear from you. And let's get together with Tom and we can talk about this a little bit more. That would be really kind of fun to do, is get a few people who have watched this and have their own testimonies, and we can revisit this again.
Now that's the key. The P, that's grassroots. That's the key. There is no textbook. We're writing the textbook by way of testimonies. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. I look forward to the textbook too.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time today, and we will follow up again soon. All right. Bye for now, everyone. And we look forward to hearing your thoughts, your questions, and your experience. Have a great day.